This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode number 42 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast was created. This made a lot of people very angry and has widely been considered as a bad move. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
Yes. This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City. Mitch was here, but I think we lost her.
We lost Mitch. I don't know if I can do a Mitch impression. This is Mitch. I don't know. I can't do Canadian.
I can't do a Canadian accent. So Mitch, she may return.
Yes. And this is Rachel Linden. Well, I was going to say we're ish, but apparently we're going to be even more ish for
No, I'm back.
a little bit. Hey, there she is.
She's here. Do your intro, Mitch.
Yes.
Sorry. It cut out just as Rachel was starting the... But I said
It's going to be one of...
Let's just say that.
It's going to be one of those. So
dear listeners, friends, and acquaintances, be patient with us with this one because it's kind of been it's been an interesting day.
Yeah, apparently Holly's internet issues are contagious.
Oh my gosh.
Which doesn't bode well for Chrissy or I.
Oh, don't tell me that. I need my internet.
I know. Anyway, Mitch is back. Yay.
Yay.
Okay. That was one of our more colorful introductions.
Yeah. and that's okay. It happens.
No, it's not your fault. It happens.
It happens.
I know it's not my fault, but I'm Canadian. It's in my...
All is forgiven as long as you bring donuts.
I'm already giddy, so
yeah.
reasons I'm not going to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah. We're recording later than we normally do, so we're tired, and some of us have seen Once Upon a Time, and apparently it was full of feels and other things. So
All the feels.
And
There was
and
swan feels near the beginning.
yeah, and Holly's
Yes,
out
you know.
sick, so hopefully she'll be feeling better.
Yeah.
So apparently something is going around at work, and other people at her work have got it. Now she got it, so she's laying low for now.
And we hope that she gets well soon so she can come back and we can all be five again.
Alrighty then. Well, let's jump straight into things before something terrible happens or something. I don't know. More casting news for the live action version. People are dropping like flies. I'm just gonna keep going.
Soldier on! You can do it.
Yeah. Yes, Beauty and the Beast. We have the ink wasn't quite dry on the contract yet, but people were announcing this anyway, so we're going to take it as the gospel truth. But we have got our Lumiere in the form of Ewan McGregor.
Obi-Wan Kenobi!
Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be
That's what
the singing and dancing candelabra. Which, thankfully, we do know he can carry a tune if you saw Moulin Rouge.
Oh,
So,
yes, Moulin Rouge.
yeah.
Oh, one of my very first high school crushes.
Yeah. So, there's that, which, at first, I saw the news, and I was like, because all the others have been like, yes, that's perfect, best casting idea ever. And this one I was like, but then I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, actually, I kind of could see that. So
Yep.
it took me a
Now,
second.
can you do a French accent is the next question.
Well, yes, that's true. No,
He is Scottish.
that is true. Hey, if Jerry Orbach, the hardened, I mean, he was a song and dance man before he did Law and Order, I think, But still, I know him best from Law and Order. It's like the hard-nosed detective from Law and Order could do a French candelabra, then I think Ewan McGregor can. So,
Okay.
I would think.
That
works.
works.
So, anyway, in another casting news, which I only saw this posted once, so apparently this did not catch as much traction, but they've also cast Stanley Tucci as a new character. They've come up with a brand new character that wasn't in the original, or even in the Broadway version, I guess. He has been cast as Cadenza the Grand Piano. Which,
Although
if you've
this
seen
makes
the Hunger Games, it kind of fits.
It does. I'm like, but this kind of sounds like if you have seen the Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, there is a character that is, I can't remember his name now, but he's like an organ, like, those big
like a pipe organ.
It's voiced by Tim Curry.
See, there you go.
I wonder if this is something similar.
Maybe.
But that organ, he was
There's a pretty big difference between an organ and a grand piano.
Well,
yes.
I know, but that's where my mind
It's
went.
a musical instrument with keys and it makes noise. We're going with it.
I am uncultured swine. just give it to me straight.
Yeah. But the little blurb is that Cadenza is a grand piano who is described as a neurotic maestro. So again, if you've seen the Hunger Games, then I think this fits. Or The Devil Wears Prada.
Or Captain America: The First Adventure.
Yeah.
He was blah blah blah. What's the guy's name? I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time. Erskine, Dr. Erskine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which he was neurotic, but he wasn't like, woo!
Yeah, crazy.
Yes. Unlike Caesar in the Hunger Games again. So.
74th Annual Hunger Games!
Yeah.
That's my best Stanley Tucci impression.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So, there's that. Still, I mean, with every casting, even the ones that make me go, huh, I'm all like, yay, out of all the remakes they're doing, this is what I'm most excited about, and I really hope that, I'm not setting the bar too high, and my dreams and hopes get dashed. So.
True.
Disney,
That is...
I'm holding you to a high.
This is Beauty and the Beast. This is like your magnum opus.
Yeah.
Other than Lion King and Frozen.
Yeah.
This is like one of the greatest animated movies you've ever done. Now you're live actioning it.
Yes.
Don't screw this up.
Exactly. See, we're choking on our passion.
On our squee, yes.
Yes. Choking
Sorry,
on our
yeah.
squee.
My throat just got dry.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So next up in news, and we just lost Brittany.
Yeah.
She was supposed to do this one. Well, let's just go into it.
Yep.
Daredevil's been renewed for a second season.
Yay!
Netflix junkies. Which I have not watched Daredevil yet. I'm still on the fence whether I am going to or not. But looking through this news, I mean, it looks like, pretty much the usual suspects who are championing or show running this sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Same people. And then they're also talking about other Marvel Netflix projects. So there's AKA Jessica Jones, which we knew was coming because David Tennant's in it, and he's going to be purple. But then there's also Marvel's Luke Cage, which I had not heard about, Marvel's Iron Fist, and Marvel's Defenders. Those are coming up, and I'm like, okay. So Marvel is taking over Netflix, you guys. So if you don't have a Netflix subscription and you're a Marvel fan,
you might want to get one.
I can't imagine there are many of those people around these days.
Yeah. Marvel, what's that?
I mean, the biggest selling point for when you're talking about trying to get a friend into a show is it's on Netflix, right?
that is
And
true.
it's all there.
But it's all there. Unlike Hulu, which only some shows only at a time. Although Once Upon a Time, Hulu gives you all of it that's of the current season, but you don't have all the older stuff. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, more Daredevil, lots of other Marvel stuff, goodness coming. So, hooray!
I need to get back on watching that. I'm still only 2 episodes in.
So many good.
I've finished some other things though, so I've got a little.
It's like
I've been bouncing around.
I know. I'm the same way because I'm like, I've got a lot of books I'm trying to read. I've got a lot of shows I want to watch. I can't do it all at once.
Yeah.
As great as that would be. And then I'm also trying to listen to some extra Big Finish stuff for the Traveling the Vortex next week. Which if I get done,
I gotta remember to put that Big Finish story on my iPod so I can listen to it this week at work.
Yeah, I did actually listen to that story, but I'm doing a little extra because I'm a nerd like that.
Yeah.
What extra?
And it sounded interesting. I'm gonna listen to I Davros, which is sort of it's I think this is what I've heard. I'm not 100% sure, but it takes some ideas that are in Davros and explores them a little bit more. So I've been told. So I'm thinking I want to listen. Yes. So I haven't started it yet, but it's on my iPhone, so I'll get to it this week. Well, I'll have to get to it this week. Anyway, tangents.
Yeah.
And Brittany, are you back?
I am back.
Since I
took your Daredevil news, do you want to go ahead and take the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I had since you missed out on doing one? Or do you want me to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? It's up to you.
I can do the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one.
Okay, go for it.
Alright, speaking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Marvel.
Bobby and Hunter are getting an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off. Because we need more Marvel in our lives.
Yes.
We seriously do.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
We do. This is true.
Fan favorites Adriana Palak and Nick Blood have been tapped to topline the potential spin-off series. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed ABC and Marvel has confirmed. Sorry, I read that sentence weird. ABC and Marvel declined comment. Palak portrays Bobby Rose, aka Mockingbird, and joined the series as a guest star earlier this season before quickly being promoted to regular. British actor Nick Blood portrays mercenary Lance Hunter. Hunter and Rose were a former husband and wife duo who have a touchy relationship on the Marvel drama. That's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
That's an understatement. Hello.
If you've been watching, yeah.
But I guess they're trying to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, I suppose.
Yes.
Details are being kept under wraps, but it is rumored to be set up by the events that transpired in the closing episodes of season 2, which
is soon.
Yes.
Which is soon. And it's a good thing ABC and Marvel have declined comment because that would probably spoil the surprise. So
yeah.
they'll probably be commenting out the nose once the finale is over.
Yeah.
And all I can say is, I need more hunting bird in my life. I love Bobby and I love Hunter and my heart.
I like them. I don't love them. I like them, and I'm obviously whatever they decide to come out with, I will watch because I have to have it all. But I know, Brittany and Holly and I discussed this Tuesday while watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just, I'm very, very hesitant about this just because, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing okay. Agent Carter did all right, but still runs a risk of not coming back. And I just have the feeling that if they try to do this spin-off, that it's not going to last.
Well,
I mean, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but just based on how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing now with the storyline and the cast, I can't see Hunter and Bobby being the front runners of a show, and they'd have to do some serious, like, really good storytelling to keep people engaged, because they're not really well-known characters, so you know what I'm saying?
That just took the wind out of my sails.
Sorry. I am the biggest Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like banner supporter, like fan club #1 fan, but I'm very, very hesitant. I will watch it for as long as it's on, but I just wanted, they need to be smart about it.
This is what I'm going to say about it. And going back to Once Upon a Time, because they did that spin-off Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, which was a 13-episode thing, didn't get renewed. And that one, I think they kind of screwed up that one with they should have had it playing during the Once Upon a Time hiatus, but they were playing it, they had it going the same time as Once Upon a Time, and so that kind of screwed things up, and for the parent show as well, in my opinion. I think whatever ends up getting set up in the closing in the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., however that goes, it could just be like a one-off spin-off thing, sort of like more like a mini-series than an actual series.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It could go either way. I feel like those characters, there's a lot more potential with them, but there's just so many characters in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season that we need to kind of split a few of them off and give them more time to breathe and to really be developed. And I think, and that's kind of where my whole yay Bobby and Hunter, because those are two characters I really want to see more from, and I'm not getting it because obviously we've got to deal with the stuff with Coulson and May and Skye and Fitzsimmons, and I still want to see what's going on with them. So I'm like, I don't want it to feel like oversaturated with too many characters, so let's break some of these characters off and let them do something else in a different series. And if that works, and if those characters like grow and flourish, then yay, we get more Marvel on our screens. So
yes, with you there. And if it is like a one-time spin-off, like mini-series sort of thing, then it may do better that way, but I'll reserve judgment just because, at this point, I don't know where they're going with the storyline. So once I see where they're going, it may totally change my mind, because I'm just right now this week, like, already, my like nerves are just like, okay, what's going to happen on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tuesday? Because they like everybody like on Facebook, anything Marvel related, they're like, it's all connected, Agents, like, see how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is helping lead into the events of Agent, and it's like, first of all, spoilers, why would I want to read that? But second of all, no, I know it's going to be connected, because, everything is, I know the overall, we've talked about this, that the overall storyline in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is laying the groundwork for the Inhumans movie, which is coming in a few years. So it's gonna have to be connected through the other MCU movies, because they're all eventually gonna feed into the third Avengers movie. But just like, they're all like, it's all connected, and I'm all like, I know it's all connected, and then my like nerves are like, how is it gonna be connected? What's gonna happen? And just like, I'm just like, by like Thursday afternoon, I'm just going to be all like, because I'm going to see Ultron Thursday night. I'm like, I have to like work, and the entire time I know I am at work Thursday, I'm like, is it time to go yet? Is it time to go yet? Is it time for Ultron? Is it time? So, like, ugh.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to see it Friday evening.
Ugh. We weren't going to go see it until Saturday. And we managed to be able to move it forward to Thursday, which, thank goodness, because that's, 2 less days I have to avoid the internet for spoilers.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go on Friday night, so I may miss Friday Night Who.
Yeah, but I may be dead by midnight Thursday.
Well, the good thing about it being Friday Night Who being so late here is that I have a little more time to go see a movie and then hopefully get home in time for Friday Night Who.
Yeah.
Because we're going to the 10 o'clock show, so fingers crossed that last half hour will be enough time to get home and.
Well, don't forget don't forget there's also going to be 15, 20 minutes of trailers beforehand, so. Including that Star Wars trailer
on the big screen. Oh my gosh, there's just so much to be excited about lately.
Oh, I know. I just yeah.
But this, what? This is what I think about this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff. I think this is my theory. I have no way of knowing or anything. I think by the time when we get the finale and we're like, okay, this makes sense. Yes, it needed to spin off. Sort of like, I don't know. It just feels like, what am I trying to say?
They have they have their own big mission separate from what the main
something like
doing,
that,
or something.
Kind of like when so there was all that build up with Winter Soldier where they were saying, oh, you got to watch it because then. What happened? It's connected with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what happens, and everyone's like, oh, we had this already with Thor, and it was just them cleaning up after the big battle. And then you watch Winter Soldier, and like, oh, holy cow, yeah, it really did impact Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so that makes sense. So I kind of feel like that's what this is going to be, something similar.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Yes.
There's no reason to speculate, because...
We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know.
We just
All we know is there's a spin-off series in the works and these two are headlining it, and the powers that be are very tight-lipped about it.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
And maybe by the end of this week we'll know why. At least a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we'll all be dead.
Yep. Yep. I'll have to scrape myself off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Anyway.
Next.
Next. Just a sec.
Speaking of staying in Marvel.
Yeah, staying in Marvel, the shortlist for the next Spider-Man reboot has been revealed.
Oh gosh.
And none of us on this podcast are terribly familiar with any of them, with the possible exception of Asa Butterfield, who's been in a couple of things that we've seen or that we know of.
He was in Ender's Game and he was in Hugo.
So.
And the thing says he's 18, but you look at the picture and he looks like he's 10.
Yeah. All of these guys, they're either 18 or 20, but all the photos that they put at the top of this article, they all look like they haven't even hit puberty yet. Which, considering Peter Parker's supposed to be in high school in the new movie, he's supposed to be like 15, 16, then that probably works. But it's just like, are you even old enough to drive yourself to, the location where you're going to be filming the movie?
Yeah. Well, it's that classic TV trope of Dawson casting, where all the characters are supposed to be in high school, but the actors themselves are actually like in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess these guys are. So anyway, one of these guys could be Peter Parker. We don't know.
And we may know in the next few weeks. It just depends.
Just depends. We'll know eventually.
Oh, yes.
And further on, the very last bit of news coming in at the 11th hour, only because I was lazy and didn't get it up in time. Well, no, I think I did post it on Facebook. But this is exciting news. Robbie Amell is coming to Salt Lake Comic-Con! Woohoo! And if you don't know, this is Robbie as opposed to his cousin Steven, who came to FanX last year. But Robbie is, what I know him from is, he was he's Firestorm in The Flash, and he's really cool and awesome. And he's another one that I'm like, I don't know that I necessarily want to get his autograph, but I would like to go to his panel if I can manage it when I go.
Isn't he going to be in that spin-off, right?
Yes, he is going to be in the DC Flash Arrow spin-off that doesn't have a name yet, but it's like Atom and Black Canary and some other people that I can't remember right now off the top of my head are in it. But yes, he's going to be in it. So, yeah. And he's in a bunch of other stuff that I have no idea what it is, but apparently he was in some funky Scooby-Doo movie, too. Live-action thing. Apparently he played Freddy. At least that's what I gather from this photo. Yeah. But anyway.
Okay, then.
Anyway, Robbie Amell is coming to Crossroads of the West, and I'm excited. I get happy when I see guest announcements for Salt Lake Comic-Con, because I'm like, this is my hometown con. This is my thing. Mm-hmm. And even if I don't know who they are, I'm still like, yay, you're announcing guests, and someone's going to love them. But I love Robbie Amell, so. Happy day. And
happy day.
And just so people are aware, the tickets are currently, I believe they're still 15% off up until the Thursday, the end of the month. So if you're still considering going to Salt Lake Comic-Con and you haven't got your tickets yet, 15% off, now's a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Get in while the getting's good.
Indeed.
Save yourself a moolah. Because that 15% could go far.
Yeah. It does. You can't get another autograph or a photo op or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was downtown today, and we drove by the convention center, and I'm like, in a couple of months, this place is going to be swamped. I love going down there.
Yeah. Although, when I go to Fan Expo every year, and when I was at the Metrotron Convention Center for Toronto Comic Con, I was amazed by how much less swamped it was than it is during Fan Expo. Because Toronto Comic Con was a much, much, much smaller con.
Mm-hmm. See, I drive by our convention center almost daily to go to work because I literally work down the street from the convention center. Not from my window, because my window doesn't face the right direction. But if I went to another side of the building I work in, I could see the convention center from my building. So I drive by it on a daily basis, and there's almost always something going on at ours. So it doesn't faze me to have people wander around. We had it's like the firefighters union organization. They come every year, and it was funny because I took a slightly different route, but still it took me by the convention center, and they had all these fire trucks out, and like they take one of the parking lots so they can do like demos and like training exercises and stuff. And I drove by, like, I think it was Friday, and I happened to see this big puff of, like, really dark smoke. And if it had been any other, like, time of year, I would have been concerned that, like, oh my God, the convention center's on fire or something. But it's like, no, the streets were blocked off. It's a firefighter convention. It's fine.
That's probably the safest place in Indianapolis.
Like that's par for the course right now. So
awesome.
Always fun things at our convention center. So anyway, that's it for news. A little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget Marvel with Friends, your last opportunity. This coming Saturday, the 2nd of May, Guardians of the Galaxy, a.k.a. the Marvel with Friends Karaoke Edition.
We actually own this one. I won't have to go to the library.
Everyone should own this one. It should be mandatory. And you should own Awesome Mix Volume 1. If you don't own both of those, you are banished to the moon.
I was looking through some of our old photo challenge stuff, And I was going back
DVD
through
of Garth.
our old photo challenge stuff, and I was looking at the 2014 in pictures, and the one that says, what was your favorite movie of 2014? My picture says, duh, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's like, that should be everyone's favorite movie of 2014. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, buddy.
Even the Pope likes Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, I have no idea. I just guessed on that one. But if he's seen it, he likes it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because I'm sure the Pope has very good taste. I would hope. So 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this coming Saturday, as of when we're recording, May 2nd. Hashtag Marvel of Friends, OTG.
Yeah, we're going with the acronym on this one,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
And Rocket Raccoon Snark needs as many characters as we can give him.
Mm-hmm.
Although I imagine that there's going to be lots of us that are also going to be using the hashtag I am Groot.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. Every time Groot's on the screen, hashtag
I am Groot. So expect that hashtag to appear quite often. Also, and song lyrics. And
Oh, yes.
This is going to be like our Frozen rewatch.
It is.
We did that, and we were all on Skype and singing
We were
along.
singing
and
along.
our copies weren't quite
Synced
matched
up.
up, so we were all kind of singing at different parts, but we were all still singing, and it was wonderful. I mean, part of me wishes we'd recorded that. The other part of me is like, maybe it's a good thing, because that would have been good blackmail material.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. In other news, I'm back.
Yay!
Hi, Mitch! I know I saw you. I was trying to stall for time to get you back.
Well, and
Come on,
yeah.
Internet.
So there's that, and then looking at the calendar, the month is almost over. So that means new month, new stuff of the month.
My birthday's coming up.
Yeah, that too. Mother's Day is coming up, so those of y'all with mothers, start thinking and about presents now. My brother's birthday is in May as well.
May's just a busy month.
Yeah. Yeah.
2
So.
weeks after Mitch's.
Yeah. So a new month means a new photo challenge, and Brittany made the presidential decision like yesterday.
Executive.
No, it was like today.
Decision.
Today.
Yeah, I was like,
All right.
And
So-
Did ask for opinions.
Well, that's true.
yeah.
They said, "How does this sound?" And we're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
I kind of figured you guys
Basically.
wanted. But the photo challenge for May is the ABCs of science fiction, and I'm probably gonna make the hashtag the ABCs of sci-fi and make it shorter.
Yes.
Good call.
Yeah.
So this is sci-fi in TV, movies, and books.
Yep, and you can
And
also
comics.
do comics, like sci-fi tropes, authors that are known for sci-fi. Anything sci-fi related is
Game.
game.
Okay. I love your rules on this,
Yeah.
Brittany, I have to say.
The-
pretty easy.
They're more like guidelines than
Exactly.
actual
They're like
rules.
guidelines and
Yeah.
actual rules.
We go the Pirates of the Caribbean route when it comes to these challenges. They're more like guidelines. I'm always, we get these new topics, and I automatically start thinking, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do for this and that and the other?
And the good thing is, sci-fi tends to have really crazy character names, so some of the usual harder
Letters
letters
should be really easy.
True.
Yes.
X, Q, and well, Q is already taken care of because you've got Q from Star Trek.
Or
Exactly.
Quark,
Or
the Ferengi.
if you don't want to like double up with anyone, there's like other
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just one I
Or
thought of
titles,
off the top of my
you
head.
know. Doesn't have to necessarily be characters. It could be a movie or a title of a movie or a TV show or something.
Quantum Leap.
Exactly. Q, I usually don't have a problem with. It's X that I usually have issues with.
Tough one. Like this time when we did animation, I was like, okay, someone already did X-Men.
Two of us did X-Men.
I think we all did some kind of X-Men.
For the most part, I think we did.
Anything else? Well, I'm sure there was something out there if I had bothered to look hard enough, but I didn't. So I was like, the ABCs of animation has been fun, but I look at mine and I'm like, yeah, mine's pretty heavy in the Disney. That's okay. I had a lot
It's
of
pretty
Disney
much all
ones.
Disney.
Although my favorite one I came up with was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I was like racking my brain. I could not think of anything that day, and I was like just Googled animated characters. And I found this list, and I was like, Oswald, I gotta do him. Because I was like, you actually kind of get a history lesson with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was exciting. Yep. Anyway.
Yay!
And
So there's that. And since Holly's not here, anybody have any idea what the book club choice is for May?
No.
that was one we did not get to.
No. Well,
We'll have that for you next time. How's that?
Yeah.
Or watch our Facebook page or
Yeah.
the Goodreads page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this space here. For once Holly is feeling better, I'm sure she'll figure it out. So she's been good about keeping up on it, but since she's under the weather, we will give her a pass.
Yes.
And she has internet issues, so
That too.
Yeah, she has an excuse.
Yeah.
But she's done very well, and I thank her for taking that over, because I would have totally fallen down on it if I tried to keep doing it. So Holly, thank you. You are a saint and a wonderful person for doing that.
So yeah. So there's that. So that's it for news and housekeeping type stuffs. We don't have any feedback per se. We do get nice tweets from people every now and then, but nobody really seems to be compelled to send us any real feedback. But that's okay. We know you're listening.
Mm-hmm. We talk your ear off enough.
Yeah.
To make up for it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, moving on to this week's topic, which thank goodness Mitch came up with this last week. Because this is episode 42. If you're all familiar with this particular universe, then you know that 42 is but you don't know the question.
It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
The ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. We just don't know the ultimate
question. Right. So, there's this little book series plus movie plus, well, it started out as a radio series. But it's also a book series, and there was a little movie made 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
The movie made 10 years ago wasn't the first, because I remember there was one with Peter Davison.
Yeah.
Well,
wasn't that a miniseries?
Yeah, it was a BBC miniseries. I watched a few episodes.
Yeah.
If you say so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was like a BBC miniseries.
Yeah.
I remember episodes.
Let's just say to put a little disclaimer here for our listeners. This particular topic, while we're very excited to talk about certain parts of it, None of us are an expert, unlike a lot of the other
Have
things we
even-
talk about.
Have we even said what it is yet? We're doing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I'm sitting here going, I don't even think we've said the name of it yet.
So, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Some of us have only seen the movie. Some of us saw some of the mini-series that came out before the movie.
Well, I.
So we're gonna bumble around with this a little bit.
The movie and heard about the other stuff.
And really, the only reason I picked up a copy of the movie like last year is because I'd heard a few things about it, and I heard that it was kind of funny and kind of weird, and it has Martin Freeman and Alan Rickman in it. So I was like, sold! So I'm...
That's all you need to get Rachel onto something, apparently.
Yeah. Especially the Alan Rickman part. I'm like, sold!
This is the thing about...
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is that there is a basic premise in that the Earth is going to be destroyed to make room for an intergalactic highway, and Arthur Dent is this sort of everyman character. I'm like saying this like nobody knows these, but maybe there's somebody out there who is unfamiliar, and he gets caught up in all this, and an alien named Ford Prefect has been writing the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and they run away from Earth. And then, so the series is basically them, the Earth is destroyed, and Arthur Dent just gets, he just meets all kinds of weird and wacky creatures and aliens. It's Douglas Adams, so you kind of know what, in some ways that's all you need to say. You know, he's kind of got the madcap, oddball, British humor sort of thing, but it's still, I mean, Douglas Adams was script editor for Doctor Who, so if you've ever seen, like, you know, City of Death or Pirate Planet or even Shada.
Yeah, I was going to say Shada.
You know what you're getting. But those were sort of the prototype of Hitchhiker's Guide. And didn't he end up using elements of Shada in a Hitchhiker's Guide story?
It wasn't
or am I
Hitchhiker's
making
Guide, it was
that up?
Dirk Gently.
Okay, I knew. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was like,
Dirk
I knew he
Gently's
did
Holistic
something with it.
Detective Agency, which borrows from Shada and City of Death.
Okay. So you have things like the restaurant at the end of the universe, or you have the one that's my favorite is in the movie. They have the song, "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish," where all the dolphins are leaving the planet because they've been trying to warn people that the planet was going to be destroyed, and everyone just thought that they were doing tricks and trying to be entertaining, and so they sing "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish."
So sad.
You know.
It's getting down to this.
To end this way.
Yeah.
And then I was reading the YouTube comments, and everyone was saying, if you don't use this as a breakup song, what are you doing with your life? I'm like, that sounds horrible.
So,
because I'm like sitting here like kind of humming along and toe tapping. It's very catchy.
Yes.
And I'm like, I wouldn't. Well, maybe I would, because I kind of have that weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
Knowing we were going to do this, I had to spend 20 minutes going through all of our DVDs to find my copy. Because we own that many DVDs, and it has them organized, just the sheer number of them. It takes a while to find what you're looking for sometimes. So I finally found my copy, and I rewatched it yesterday, because the movie is the only thing I really know, that and what I've read on Wikipedia. The books are on my list of things to read when I get around to it. So I'm watching the movie yesterday, and I think I wasn't that far in, and I think it was during the scene where Arthur and Ford had just discovered hitchhiking, and they were being tortured. I guess depending on your opinion on intergalactic poetry,
Vogue and poetry
Vogue
is
and-
said to be the third worst in the galaxy.
Yes. So I'm in our bedroom watching this, and Chauncey comes into the room for something. And he sees what I'm watching and proceeds to stand there for the next 15 minutes, just staring at the TV, not saying a thing. And I know he's there. I see him out of the corner of my eye, but I'm not saying anything because I'm watching the movie. I'm enjoying myself. So finally I turn and say, "Didn't you have something to do?" And he just looks at me and says, "I've never seen this before. It's so weird." Like, yes, it is.
And I think that's all you need to say about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's so weird.
But I mean, as far as the movie is concerned, the movie, I mean, it's campy. It's kind of B-movie, sci-fi-ish, but visually, it's really fun to look. Like the Vogons and some of the other creatures were done by Henson. So they're top-notch quality, like creatures, what you'd expect from the Henson Company and their creatures. So, if you've seen Labyrinth and Dark Crystal and all that, it's going to be in that same vein as far as believability and the quality. But then the cast, if anything else, it's one of those casts where it's like, oh, it's that person. Oh, it's that person. It's that, you've got Martin Freeman, you've got Sam Rockwell, you've got Bill Nighy, the voice of Alan Rickman, because visually he doesn't appear, but he is the voice. Stephen Fry is the narrator.
And what's funny, when I first saw this movie, I barely knew any of them.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I know that person, I know that person, I know that person. And even when I was looking at the credits, it said casting by Susie Figgis. I think she was one of the casting somebody or other on Doctor Who, or she was a producer or something. I was like, I recognize that name. It was like during the RTD years, she worked on Doctor Who in some capacity. It was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the cast is just, it's one of those casts where it's like, oh, it's that, it's that person, and they're like, it's a good cast. And Zooey Deschanel, I could take her or leave her. I think as Trillian, I think she's a little flat. But other than that, for the most part, I think the casting is absolutely brilliant. And Martin Freeman does that man who's gotten into some situation and he doesn't know how he's gotten there, and he really would like to just go home, but can't. I don't know if you can consider that typecasting or if just Martin Freeman does that really well. Exhibit A, Sherlock. Exhibit B, The Hobbit.
Yep. Well, the man knows where his bread is buttered, so there you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I mean, just, I can't, it's one of those movies, you can watch it and, it's not violent, it's not grotesque, it's not, it's just one of those you could sit and kill an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just be happy and amused and entertained.
I pulled out my copy on Thursday night to watch it, and then I noticed on the menu screen there's a feature called Improbability Drive.
Yes, there's.
And I clicked that, and it took me to a random special feature, which was, I think, the sing-along for So Long and Thanks for All the Fish.
Yeah.
So I spent half an hour, I would click the Improbability Drive, watch the special feature, click it again, and I did that until it started repeating itself a little too often for my liking, and then I watched the movie. And I must have seen the So Long and Thanks for All the Fish sing-along 3 times.
Well, you kept watching it, so this is the thing about it. It's that dry British humor that it's not like Rachel was saying. It's not grotesque. It's not crude. It's not, but it kind of is in its own way. but it's funny. Like you just kind of laugh. And for me, it took me a while to kind of get used to Douglas Adams' brand of humor because I wasn't used to it, and I'm just kind of like, okay, this is funny.
Yeah, like the first time I read the book, it was like, what?
It's like, what is this? It's like, and people.
The library has a like this omnibus of like the entire series. So I like the first time I read it, I checked that. It's like a big. It's a thick book, and it's,
yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the one I got for my birthday. The big omnibus that had like all 5 stories plus like an extra one.
An extra short story about Zaphod.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the first Hitchhikers thing I experienced.
Same here.
Nice.
Okay, so for those of you that are familiar with the books at least a little bit, you know, obviously the what I know of the books is there were 5 written by Douglas Adams, and then the 6th one was written by someone else because it didn't get finished before he passed. So, but it's the original 5. It's a trilogy in 5 parts.
Like any version, like the radio plays are different from the miniseries, are different from the books, are different from this most recent movie. So, it's
more of a series with
version-wise.
It's more of a series with characters and basic premises, but it's not like it doesn't hold to any real continuity. It's just sort of, take these characters and do some,
like in the books, the scene where they're picked up by the Heart of Gold, the ship, is like when they're not in normal. When they don't have normality, it's like way whatever than what we saw in the movie.
Oh, okay.
And the that whole bit where they go to that one planet with Hamakavula and all that, not in the books whatsoever. They just go straight from picking up Ford and Arthur to Magrathea.
Okay. So is it more like a set of like, since you said there's not really a whole lot of continuity, is it more like short stories and they just kind of go together to make?
Well, sort of. It's like Arthur. It's basically following Arthur from one thing to another as he bounces around the galaxy.
Okay. Which makes sense.
Here's an example. So when
stories following the other main characters, which are Zaphod and Ford and Trillian.
Okay,
and
so this is what I remember when I was reading the book, and this is one scene, and it's the one about the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And the scene is, and I can't remember the name of the people, but it's like these these great. They're supposed to be these great minds, these great thinkers, and they're all trying to come up with the answer to life, the ultimate question, the ultimate answer to the ultimate question. And it's like this big, this kind of convention of these minds, and then this one guy comes up and he's like, I found the answer, and he presents it to the head guy in charge, and he reads it out, and it's like, it's 42 is the answer, but you don't know the question.
Right.
And so. And that scene, as I remember it from the book, like there's no, there's none of the main characters are there. It's just sort of, it's taking on the voice of a hitchhiker's guide, a travel guide, and it's telling you about, here are these people that have worked so hard to find this answer, and this is a story of how they found it, but now they don't know the question. And so it's like, it's not necessarily connected to these people, but it's also sort of like, because Ford Prefect is working on this Hitchhiker's Guide, and so it's sort of like his entry on that particular. If I'm remembering it right, I could be totally wrong, and someone will write in and say, "You freaking idiot! Get your story straight." But yeah, so it's kind of it can be kind of disjointed in a way, but that part is kind of a short story or a small drabble, I guess you'd call it, in its own right. But it doesn't really have much of a connection to any of the other characters. Now, maybe it does in a later book. I've only read the one. So, but then again, it's so disjointed and so nutty that it probably doesn't, because it just sort of feels like the way Douglas Adams is writing it is like, oh, and this idea sounds good. I'm going to write about that, and it has nothing to do with anything else. I just think it sounds funny. and it was.
Interesting. Like I said, the books are on my list of things to read, but like I said, what I know is from the movie and what I read in the Wikipedia entry. So, but you know how Wikipedia is.
Oh yes.
You can only glean so much from from Wikipedia, but just what I know of Douglas Adams was really from Doctor Who. What he did for Doctor Who, and just
well, when I knew Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy first, so when I got to Pirate Planet and it came up with the title and it was like The Pirate Planet, written by Douglas Adams, and I had to pause to geek out over the fact that this was by Douglas Adams, and
that you're kind of like, wait, what?
DVD. What?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I by Douglas Adams came up on the screen, and I had to pause the DVD so I could geek out over the fact that the Doctor Who story I was watching had been written by Douglas Adams.
Yeah, and you see it, and you're just sort of like, wait a minute, what? Oh my gosh.
See, mine was the other way around. As I'd seen City of Death and Shada, and then I discovered Hitchhiker, and I watched Hitchhikers, and then you think about, something like that. That makes total sense, actually. Stephen Fry, John Cleese. Purely coincidental, I know, but still, it's just, like, it makes totals, and Shada, woo! I have the book version of Shada. I should probably read that. It'll probably make way more sense than the version that's out there. So yes, fish. No, towels, fish, aliens, improbability drives, the universe's smartest computer, mice,
catch of the day.
Yeah. Freeways, bypasses. I mean, it sounds like utter nonsense, but then when you see it in context, you're like, okay.
It makes sense now.
It does.
I get it.
What the movie leaves, one of the things the movie leaves out is that the program that the Earth was built to run, the computer program, was only 5 minutes away from completion when Earth was demolished by the Vogons.
Yeah. The movie is kind of a condensed version of, and picks lines from various books. Like the line I used to open the podcast actually does not appear in the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So the movie
in the second book,
Restaurant at the End of the Universe, yeah, which they reference at the end of the movie.
The universe means the temporal end, not the physical end.
Yeah,
like the end of time when the universe goes.
Yeah,
which the restaurant itself and the end of the universe is in the Restaurant at the End of the Universe, the book.
Yeah.
So, like, they actually go to the restaurant
at the end. Yeah.
Well, they don't actually see the end of the universe because they leave the restaurant before the universe actually ends. But they're there for most of the big show of star systems boiling away and ending and all that.
Yeah. So, you know, there's the books, there's the radio series, and then there's the mini series that apparently was made before the movie, and then there's the movie. And I think of the movie, unless you read the
mini series was like back in like the 80s or something.
Yeah, the early 80s, I believe. I can't remember. Well, I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
I think I remember reading it. That was in the early 80s.
So my guess is that if people are at least somewhat familiar with it, they're probably either familiar with the books or the motion picture that was made in 2005.
Yeah.
And I would be one of those people because I have not read the books, but I've seen the movie twice. I've been busy. So the movie, we've kind of jumped around, but specifically...
Well, the book jumps around too. So,
yeah, so it kind of fits. So the movie, on top of all the stuff we've already mentioned, is weird. We've covered that. So you have Martin Freeman plays Arthur. His best friend is an alien named Ford.
And the reason why his name is Ford is because he named it after the cause that he thought was the dominant
species when he came to Earth. So Ford is...
The line is, he chose the name because his research on the planet had led him to believe that it would be nicely inconspicuous.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which, considering these days, you know, you got people named like Apple and
Afton.
You know, I'll pick a name, so Ford actually does not seem that weird.
I had a friend named Portia.
Oh, you know.
In context to 2015.
Oh my gosh. Search Utah baby names, Utah girls' names, Utah boys' names. I know people with some of those names, and it's embarrassing. I'm just like, I apologize for the people that live in my state and the cracked out, drug-addled things they come up to name their children. I bet you anything, somewhere in the state of Utah, there is a child named Ford Prefect. I will bet you anything.
Makes me glad that I have a normal name.
Me too. I'm glad my parents weren't... Never mind. Don't get me started on this.
That's a rant for another time.
Sorry. You got me going.
Yeah. So Ford knows that Earth is going to be destroyed, and because Arthur had saved his life, he decides to return the favor and saves Arthur's life by hitchhiking right before the Earth is destroyed. And in turn, they end up on the ship of the President of the Galaxy, played by Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Who apparently only has half a brain because that's the way politics work.
Well, it's kind of explained in later stories that he did brain surgery on himself to lock away certain parts of knowledge, so that because he needed to steal the he needed to become president, so he could steal the ship, so he could, in the books, meet the true ruler of the universe. Because the president of the galaxy is an empty title. It's intended to draw the attention away from where the power really is, which is like this. There's which is the ruler of the universe, who's like this barmy old guy who lives on this rock in the middle of nowhere, and is visited by these 6 guys who come and ask him questions, and the answers he gives apparently determines what happens in the universe. And these 6 people are the only ones who know that this is actually the case.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There's politics involved with these stories.
Well, because, see, the theory is that no one who actually wants to rule should be able to. So they have someone who's not actually interested and is, like, has only the loosest grasp of reality.
Yeah.
Like, if you read the passage in it's like the second book, I think, where Zaphod and Scott and someone else like go to and actually meet the man who rules the universe. It like that passage makes it clear he's got only the basis grasp of reality, and he accepts nothing is real. Like, he only thinks that maybe this happens or that happens, and is completely open about the fact that his perception might be wrong. So,
Very existential.
read the books.
Yes.
It
makes you think.
It really does. And actually, I used that quote a couple years ago when I was doing my big Doctor Who 50th anniversary blogging project, where I was just picking certain stories. And I just to kind of review throughout the year, and I was reviewing The Curse of Peladon for the third Doctor, and actually used the quote that you're talking about. You know, it's a well-known fact, those people who must want to rule people are ipso facto those least suited to do it. Summarize the summary: anyone who is capable of getting themselves made president should on no account be allowed to do the job. And I was using it to highlight the fact in Peladon that, anyway, it's a political thing, but I just thought I loved the quote, and I was like, this fits this story so well. No wonder Douglas Adams worked on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And just as an aside, the more I look at my day job and what and the things that I deal with, and I'm like, man, there's so much truth to that statement.
Douglas Adams was a visionary ahead of his time. Well, maybe not ahead of his time, considering politics have been around since, forever and ever.
Fighting over politics has been around since the very first caveman got pissed off that the leader didn't cook the mastodon meat right.
Yeah.
And they wanted to overthrow it. Yep. Haven't you seen the very first Doctor Who story with the caveman?
Yes, I know.
On fire. And nobody did it right.
It all comes back to Doctor Who.
It does.
Which I think may say something about this particular, at least parallels Doctor Who, at least somewhat. So, coincidence? Probably. We like to think not. Oh. Anyway, all I keep going back to is it's just weird.
It's just weird.
It's just weird, but it's a good weird.
That could be the secondary tagline.
Yeah. It's just weird. But at least with the movie, the Earth has been destroyed. Or get wrapped up in this thing with, the president of the galaxy wanting to go and get not get the answer, but the ultimate question from the computer to go with the ultimate answer. Because millions and millions of years before that, these people came together and took the two smartest people, and they created this computer. It was supposed to be so smart and so powerful that it would be able to answer, the ultimate question, the ultimate question to life, in the universe and everything. So the computer does its thing. They come to it. Was it 7.5 million years later? And the computer comes up with the answer, and it's 42. Which disappoints a lot of people. That is the answer. But the computer logically says, well, you know, it's hard to give an answer when you don't really know what the question is. So the computer creates another computer or machine that's supposed to calculate the ultimate question to go with the ultimate answer.
Because it's not capable of doing that.
Right. But it just so happens that the other computer that it creates is Earth. Which gets destroyed 5 minutes before it comes up with the...
It's so powerful that it could be mistaken, so big it could be mistaken for a planet, and frequently is, especially by the creatures living on it, which form part of the computer program.
Yes.
So, and there's a, I think it's in the second book, where it's revealed that actually the people living on Earth in Arthur's time are actually descended from aliens from another planet that got sent from their own planet, basically to get rid of them because they were like all these useless people, and yeah. So because of that, the program got slightly muddled. So the answer that's in Arthur's brain is actually wrong, but yeah.
Yeah.
And they try and figure out what answer Arthur's got in his brain by having him pull Scrabble tiles out of a bag. And the answer they come up with is what you get if you multiply 6 by 9. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you get if you multiply 6 by 9. That's what they come up with. So if we can extrapolate from that the question is actually what you get if you multiply 6 by 7. But yeah.
And I've seen like visuals on like Tumblr and Pinterest and stuff where people have taken like phrases or whatever and have managed to like manipulate it, or like the letters of the alphabet and their corresponding numbers, you add them together and they equal 42, or like the word math. I think each of the M, like A is 1 and M is, and like you add them together and it equals 42. So apparently the meaning of life is math. At least to some people.
That doesn't do me any good.
Yeah. Like, that's the case, I'm in trouble unless calculators are allowed to be brought along. So I it's like,
well, they
like
use a computer to figure out the answer, so yeah. I think calculators are allowed.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, it's like, like we've said. I mean, it's joking aside, or maybe not. With us, talking about how weird and wacky and this whole thing is. That people have been able to get something out of it that actually has some meaning, and they're able to apply it to their own lives, whether it is, figuring out what their meaning in life is, towards the end of the movie when Arthur is settled back in his home on Earth version 2.0 or Earth Mark II. And he's confronted by mice that are trying to get the question out of Arthur's head, and he just starts rambling. It's like, what is 4 times 7 or whatever,
what is 6 times 7?
or what is what is 6 times 7? That I forget what the second thing he spouts off, or how many roads does it
take to change a light bulb?
Yeah,
how many roads must a man walk down?
And in Arthur's case, to him, the ultimate question, which the answer is not 42, I guess, but is she the one? Because there's a love story involved in this whole thing as well. And for him, the ultimate question is love, or the ultimate meaning of his life is love. So there's...
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah. So as weird as it is, it's not... There's enough not nonsense in it that you can take something from it. So, there's this running gag about, that Ford insists that, Arthur always have his towel with him.
There's a passage in the book that explains why it's so have their towel with them.
Mm-hmm. Because you never know when you might need one.
With, a non-hitchhiker, if a non-hitchhiker encounters a hitchhiker and they've got their towels with them, the non-hitchhiker will assume that the hitchhiker also has everything else that they might need while hitchhiking, and would then be willing to lend them any of the items that they may have lost, because they think that anyone who has done all this hitchhiking and whatever and still knows where their towel with must be really together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paraphrasing wildly, but you get the gist. So.
And somewhere there's a phrase that he's a hoopy frood.
Yes,
I remember that part.
Which basically means that they're a really together person.
Yeah, they've got their life figured out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right, you
so it's
fruit.
So you can take it at face value, and it's just an entertaining series of books, or movie, or miniseries, depending on whatever way you decide to enjoy this particular piece of work, or you can find more existential meaning out of it.
Deeper meaning.
Yes.
Sort of like those people who made Star Trek a religion.
Yeah.
Wait, was it? I don't know. There's several different things like that.
I know of people who have been raised Jedi.
Well, there you go. It's like all these worlds, all these fictional worlds, they create belief systems that, real life people can, they're so complex and so complete that real people can actually use them. And it's like, okay, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You do you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Which I think should be everybody's mantra.
Yep.
And on that note, anything else anyone wants to say about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Don't panic.
Yeah.
That was
Yes. Which is on the cover of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in the universe. Which is actually one of the major selling points of the guide, actually.
It's very calming.
The reason that it sells better than Encyclopedia Galactica is because it's slightly cheaper and has the words "Don't panic" in large friendly letters on the cover.
Yes.
Now my question is, what font are those large friendly letters? Because I would think, I don't know, because I've seen designs of it before, and all of them, well, not all of them, but most of them that I've seen are like, bold red letters that say "Don't panic" in all caps, and I'm like, if I were to see that, I think I would panic even more.
Yeah.
That's just me.
See, isn't it in a more
when
casual?
people tell me not to panic, that's when I start panicking.
Yeah, it's like is it in a casual, like friendly font, maybe like Comic Sans and like a nice lilac.
Accompanied by
the book only says large friendly letters, so
again, it's up to interpretation then.
Yeah.
I will have to seek out more so I can find something else that's I can find it.
That is your homework. Find the most friendly font you can find.
And write "Don't panic."
Don't panic.
And maybe
see if
it'll make you think of fields of lilacs and daisies.
Yes.
Strawberry fields forever.
All right then. Well, we've broken out into song. If that's not a sign we need to wrap up, I don't know what is.
I was punchy before we started.
Oh my. Oh. Those of you that are still listening at this point, bless you. Thank you for sticking around.
I don't know what we did to deserve such great, wonderful people. But you're welcome for listening to us.
Gold star to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And if you want to keep in touch with us, if you did stick around this long,
bye.
You can find all of our info at the FiveishFangirlsPodcast.blogspot.com. There you can find links to our Twitter and Tumblr and everything else. I don't think we have a link to our Instagram on there. I should probably add that. Put that on my list of things to do. And Pinterest. We're now on Pinterest too.
Yep.
Brittany gets bored and we end up on social media.
Bored, not that long after we recorded last week.
Yeah, I think it was the next day. I was sitting down.
Soon enough, we'll have a Snapchat, which I don't even have a Snapchat of my own. I don't even know how it works.
I have a Snapchat, which I got because my friend asked me about it, so I made one real quick, and she sent me some stuff, and I haven't used it since. And that was a while ago that we
so we probably
last hung out. Like, it was at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so we're probably not getting Snapchat anytime soon, so don't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah.
But everything else, all the major social media thingies, we probably have, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find us on that. But go to our website, because all our links are there. You can find us pretty easily.
Exactly.
And I've been putting a lot of stuff on the Facebook page just because throughout my day, because I work online pretty much, and I see stuff on Facebook, and not necessarily that I use for work, but I'm like, oh, I can put this on the podcast Facebook page, and so I do. So our content, we've had quite a bit more than we used to.
Yeah.
Now I'm online all day. I'm like, hey, I can do this real quick right in between while I'm waiting for, some picture to load on our website.
Yeah.
For work.
Yeah.
Which is what I frequently do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just have to take a break from the news.
Yes.
A very short break, but a break nonetheless.
Yep.
Anyway.
So,
right.
There's all of that. All right. Well, unless anybody has anything else they would like to add, then we shall sign off for this week.
Well, except for the fact that I'm now rereading the book.
Oh my
And
goodness.
you can find Mitch on Goodreads. And
follow follow her progress and what she's reading. We're all pretty much on Goodreads.
Yeah, it's just some of us use it more than others. So.
Yes.
Well, I don't use it as much as I should, considering how much I actually read.
Yeah.
Like, how much I read and how much I use Goodreads are very different. I should use Goodreads more.
And you would be able to see how much you actually do read, and you'd probably, freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I spent so much time reading when I should be, I don't know, whatever.
Getting caught up on shows?
Yeah.
Yep, that too.
Yeah.
They need a good Goodreads for TV shows. Don't they have something like that? You can keep track of the things you've watched?
They will
used to be.
GetGlue.
Oh yeah, but now that went the way of the dodo.
Yes.
Sadly.
I just use Facebook to check in.
Yeah, it works. Okay.
Yep.
All right, we better close up shop here because we're all getting a little. Yeah. I think it's talking about Hitchhiker's Guide that's made us all go wah!
A little bit. It could be worse. It could be worse. You know, I'd rather y'all happy and crazy and a little punchy. Instead, we could all have the same personality as Marvin. So.
Yep. The robotic
Yep. Considering the alternative.
Android.
Yeah.
Let's be happy.
Yeah.
I like being happy.
Yes.
Happy is good.
That's sounded weird. I'm sorry.
All right. Let's sign off of this crazy thing.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Jane, get me off this crazy thing.
That does take place.
Brittany, take us out. Let's go.
I'm trying.
Come on, Brittany.
This is Brittany saying goodnight.
Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is all Douglas Adams' fault.
Excuse me. This is Mitch saying goodnight from Kitchener, Ontario.
Y'all don't have your towels with you. That's the problem, isn't it? None of y'all have your towels with you.
We're the opposite of goofy fruits.
Oh my. Well, and last but certainly not least, I am Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. So long, 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 and thanks for all the fish. You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.